As it is budget day in the UK today, I thought I would do a breakdown of my financial plan. In doing so, we have rang a few companies, namely the utility companies, and found out that we were in credit by nearly £400 with them, and that is now getting refunded into our account. Sorry, the light's a bit dodgy today. It's very bright, so I've got light coming down, so I look like a haggard old mess. Anyway, so that was good that we got £400 back, so that'll be in our account in a couple of days. On top of that, we went through our creditors and we looked into amalgamating those creditors so that it'll get us on a clean slate and we can start again. So we didn't think that we were going to be, you know, any better off necessarily, but as it turned out, by amalgamating those creditors, we have dropped to £250 out of our monthly bills for a start, and we've not lengthened any payment plans, so it's going to finish at the same time, but we're paying less. Don't ask me how it's worked, but it has, and that's fine. We're now waiting on the paperwork for that, because that was all over the telephone this morning. So we're waiting on the paperwork for that, so it's not actually set in stone, although we've been approved, blah blah blah. So so I thought I'd show you what I've been doing. Now, this is clear my throat. This is what I've been doing today. I haven't filled many numbers in yet. So I've listed all the essentials that come out. I've gone through our bank accounts and I've listed all the essentials that come out and made a space for the total at the bottom. Then I've listed all the non-essentials, but still things that we're going to be paying for, like the lottery, and you know, we want to make some savings ready for Christmas and birthdays and a holiday hopefully at some point, and then a total for that. And then in this corner, this is the projected spending, because we know that I'm going to Hindu in April and I'm having some treatments while I'm there, so I need to budget for that, and also petrol to get down there. That's not actually in there, so I'm going to have to add that in. Then we have trips to Manchester to see my grandchildren. I'm going to be doing 4 of them by the before the end of this year, on top of seeing them at the weddings and anything, you know, that's all budgeted for anyway. As you can see down here, the wedding is budgeted for with that's an overnight stay, that's the wedding present and petrol to get down there. This one I can't read because it's backwards, so let me have a look. Oh, that's visiting my mum and dad and visiting Nom's dad and stepmom, because they live a ways away from us, so we see them a couple of times a year, once maybe twice a year actually. So, you know, and also what family events if there are any. So I've budgeted for that, projected that, so I'm hoping that I've covered absolutely everything. Now, there's always going to be something if the boiler goes or whatever. Oh, that's another thing. I've got boiler insurance. I haven't wrote that down here. So, boiler. So, that's newly been taken out. When we was talking to the utility companies, our monthly payments, not only did they owe us £400, but our monthly payments also dropped by £22 a month. So because of that, we've bought this house 2 years ago. No idea what the boiler is, how old it is, anything. So we got boiler insurance because it's a very expensive exercise if anything goes wrong with it. So, and that was like, is it £9, £8 a month, something like that. It's not a lot. So, and that's for peace of mind. Now we've got lots of insurances that I've put in the non-essentials list, although pet insurance, life insurance, buildings and contents insurance for the house are very important. They're not, you know, we've never claimed on the home or obviously the life insurance. Pet insurance is a little bit different. That's very serious because Sydney would have cost us an absolute fortune if we hadn't had that in his early months of life, because he ate something on a walk and his stomach hasn't been the same since, so we have to keep going back and checking that anyway. So that's by the by. So there are some things on here that you wouldn't necessarily think are essentials, but to me they're essentials. And on the other hand, some of the non-essential items that I've got, like the internet or Sky Television or mobile phones, some of you may find those essential, whereas although I make YouTube videos, you know, I can go anywhere and make a YouTube video. I can steal somebody else's, not steal, I can go and visit somebody and just so happen to upload a video while I'm there. So, so that's that. I'm going to get all the prices now, all the amounts, and write those down. Then I'm going to total them up, and then I will see what the difference is between my incomings and my outgoings, because at the moment, the way we're spending, it looks like we make what we need, but we've not got anything extra, which is a bit of a problem when you've got projected spending on your list. So I'm going to give that a go and I'll get back to you. Okay, bye. Okay, so I've just figured out and written down all the figures, which I'm not going to show you because that's a little bit too personal for my liking, but whoop, they're all in there. Now, the next step is to work out what your monthly income is, which is quite easy considering there's only 2 of us in this family, and my income is very limited. So I know what our income is and I know what our expenditure is, including all the savings. So the savings for a patio, savings for a holiday, savings for birthdays throughout the year, savings for Christmas, which is a big expense for personally because I like to do it well. I've also got in there some spends for us each week, just for us each month, just for, stop scratching yourself, Sid, I'm talking. Yeah. So things like if we need to go out and there's a parking fee to pay, then we've got cash in our pockets. If we need to, if my husband's at work and he wants a coffee, you know, then he can go and buy himself a coffee. You know, just a little bit of cash on you throughout the month. Because what is the point of working as hard as you do or budgeting as hard as you do without having a little bit of something for yourself? Now, I know not everybody is in that position. I know some people are worse off than others, and I'm lucky that we have got enough money coming in to pay all our bills and to save as much as I'm projecting we need to save. And, you know, that's a very lucky position to be in. Now, if we weren't in that position, if we had a deficit in our incomings, as you know, when you take off all the outgoings, you've got a deficit of money, then we'd have to look at things like takeaways. Because I mean, I've put £40 for takeaways for a month in there. They would stop completely. I would cut down on the budget for Christmas. I would cut down on the budget for birthdays. We wouldn't have a holiday that year. To be fair, we're probably not going to have a holiday this year because we want to be clear of all credit. So credit cards and we want it all gone. We're sort of preparing for my husband's retirement, even though that's not going to be for a couple of years yet. We don't want to have any debtors feeding into the pension pot that we've got. Now, fair enough, the mortgage is going to, I think it's got another 5 years, is it? 5 or 10 years after my husband retires, hopefully by which time, and this is all pie in the sky at the moment, but hopefully I'll be working by then, and so I will be able to add to the income, but at the moment I can't do that. So we have to work with what we've got, and I will be refreshing this. Usually in January every year I will go through our finances, and I did this January, and we have been cutting back. And sorry, I've just eaten my dinner. So no, we'll be cutting back on lots of things, like we won't eat out, we won't go to Manchester as often, you know, we won't go visiting people as often. If we haven't got the petrol money, then you can't go. It's as simple as that. So there are things within this plan, within our plan, that we can cut out if something drastic happens and I need a new washing machine, or my car blows up, or whatever. Then we have ways of, we've got a contingency plan of knocking things on the head. So I don't feel as stressed as I thought I was going to. I feel okay. We are not rolling in it. We haven't got thousands in the bank like a little nest egg going on. But we have the potential to get there at the moment. So there's not, I mean, when I say we've got disposable income, we've got a couple of £100 disposable income a month. It's not, you know, hundreds and hundreds or whatever. But we are also saving. So if we added up the disposable income and all the saving money, then that would come to about £500 a month, which isn't too bad, I suppose. So that's that. I would recommend that everybody, especially as we're coming to the end of the financial year now, everybody goes on those compare sites and have a look at your utility bills, see whether you're in credit with any of them and get your money back. What's the point of that money that you have paid over being in their bank account? That's, you know, it's ridiculous. So have a look at what you're spending, where you're spending it. Just get a couple of months worth of bank statements and have a look. All those little tiny transactions that you're making at, every time you go and fill up with petrol, you get I don't know, a sandwich and a packet of crisps and a drink, and it costs you a tenner. It all adds up at the end. So think about plan ahead. So if you're going to go out for a day trip and you don't want to spend £30 on a cup of tea and a cake, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you know, if you don't want to do that, take a flask, make yourself a sandwich. It's just as nice to sit on a bench or even in the car overlooking a lake, eating a sandwich and having a coffee that you've made yourself. So that's what because we're not going on holiday this year, we're probably going to be going on day trips, which is what the Flying Scotsman, that was part of our holiday this year. Now, we may be in a position later on down the year when, you know, when we review our finances, we may be in a position to go on a week-long holiday somewhere, but at the present moment, that does not look possible. So we're living as if it's not possible. So we're going to take day trips. And this afternoon, we are going to Kirkley the Museum, which is free. And if I'm allowed to vlog, I will vlog a little bit. I probably won't vlog everything, because then nobody's going to go and visit, are they? So that's what we plan on doing this year. We need to get ourselves in order. We have had the same conversation for 3 years running now about sorting our finances out, and we are finally doing it. So I suggest everybody give it a go. Okay, bye bye.